Hello, lovely people. You are watching Davcado TV, and if this is your first time of watching, please like and share our content. If you have any concern to raise, you can visit equally at the comment section and raise your concern. Talking about this, there's this trending issue. It has trended and it's still trending because people are talking about it every now and then. Concerns are being raised about it every now and then, and it concerns Nigeria and the threats of President Donald Trump against Nigeria, and if Nigeria does not show any concern. So we are going to talk about it. The reason why I want to talk about it is because there is something that we need to make clear to ourselves, that if you look at this, you will say this one is not possible, or this one it might not be possible. There's something to it. And President Donald Trump have recently vowed to take military action against West African nations if it fails to protect their Christian citizens from persecution. So he made it clear and on a post that he posted on one of his social media platforms, stating that Nigerian government will face guns ablazing if they don't crack down on killing of Christians. This was what President Donald Trump said on his social media page, that he's going to invade Nigeria with military, with his soldiers. So now, do I see it as an insult to Nigerian government, because they are trying to tell Nigerian government that they are not responsible enough for their citizens. They are not responsible enough to cater for the protection of their citizens. So if you as a president or you as a government cannot protect your citizens, I as a foreign or international relation will come in and do it for yourself. And it's not a very nice speech. It's not a very nice story to talk about, and we are going to talk about it now. So the criticism came from the violence and extremist attack in Middle Belt region of Nigeria. Based on the criticism, Nigerian government are not doing enough to protect its Christian citizens. According to Trump's designation, Nigeria is a country of particular concern. This was what President Trump designated about Nigeria. Nigeria is a country of particular concern. So what he's trying to say is that Nigeria, based on the terrorist attack here and there, and which we know as Nigerians that this is true, a lot of people, a lot of Christians have died have fallen victim of this terrorist attack. And even I have a friend of mine also who died, as he was also a victim of this. He died. He was studying at one of the universities, and one evening he was going for an evening lecture, and he was attacked by bandits and guns are blazing, and he was shot. He was trying to run away and he was shot. And a lot of people, a lot of families are falling victim of this circumstance. And it's a global trend. A lot of people know about this terrorist attack, and a lot of people know that certain actions that should be taken towards this or to amend this case has not been taken. And the government, a lot of people also know that the governments have not likely said anything concerning this bandit attack here and there. At least it could have been a change of story as we know it. So following Trump's accusation and threats against Nigerian government, some international communities have reacted, with China backing Nigerians' right to self-defense and sovereignty. So a country like China have backed Nigeria because Nigeria is a very big country. Nigeria is a very big sovereign country, and it's not a small country that is practicing unitary system of government. Nigeria is a big country practicing federal system of government. So for another president to launch an attack on Nigeria is what it is against the sovereignty of Nigeria, because Nigeria is a sovereign state. So for another president or another country to launch war against Nigeria, it might turn out to be another world war. And as I say it, Nigeria is not capable of fighting back at US, because US army is well sophisticated than Nigerian army. Because if Nigerian army are well sophisticated, or they are well sophisticated enough, they can be able to fight at these evil bandits. So according to some international relations like China, they have backed Nigeria. They are standing behind Nigeria, saying that it is not possible for that attack to be launched because Nigeria is a sovereign country and they can cater for their own defense and they can cater for their own people. So their own people is their own responsibility and not another country's responsibility. And also, some Nigerian officials have also pushed back by denying the allegations of systematic persecution, emphasizing their commitment to protecting on citizens. Based on what Donald Trump said, a lot of Nigerian officials have also, came on the social media platform denying the allegations and the accusations that Trump is laying on them, emphasizing that as a Nigerian government, they are doing what they can do, what they can be able to do to protect every life, every citizen's life in the country Nigeria. So what Trump is saying about Nigeria cannot be true. But to me, clearly, the horrible actions of the Islamic terrorists in Nigeria is undeniable. Everybody knows about it. So for Trump to lay his threats against Nigeria, he must have reasons for that. And to me, I'm not standing with any party. I'm not standing with Nigeria not being able to protect its Christian citizens, and I'm not against Trump coming in to fight against his terrorist attack. I'm not picking side. But what I'm trying to say is the decision that President Trump is trying to make is likely to be impossible. It's likely an impossible decision, even though we accept that terrorists are fighting against Christians in Nigeria. These evil bandits, they are doing a lot of horrible things to Nigerian Christian citizens. On the other hand, there are less chances of US Army invading Nigeria as Trump claimed. So I'm going to give some reasons why it is impossible, it's likely impossible for US Army not to invade Nigeria. Now, I have about 5 tangible reasons why it is likely impossible for the US Army to invade Nigeria as President Donald Trump claimed. Now, one of the reasons is because of international law. Now, when you look at the international law, there's a law governing every country, every state, and globally, there's a law governing every country globally. So the United States would need UN Security Council's approval for military intervention, which is likely not to be given. So before US will launch any attack on any country or do anything on any country, they will need an approval from UN, that's United Nations Security Council. So if United Nations Security Council does not approve of this attack, it is likely impossible for US to launch an attack on Nigeria, which I say might be impossible for the international law to allow US to launch this attack on Nigeria. And another reason why it is likely impossible for US to attack Nigeria or for President Donald Trump to launch a military attack on Nigeria is because of diplomatic efforts. So the US would first pursue diplomatic pressure, sanctions, and economic measures before considering military action. Now, when you look at US, for example, they get a lot of their natural resources from West African states. For example, Nigeria export crude oil, and every single year they export thousands of barrels of crude oil overseas and even to America. So for America to attack Nigeria, there's a chance of America losing its connection with getting crude oil from Nigeria, and I'm not very sure that President Donald Trump is willing to take that chance, because they know how valuable that crude oil is worth and how their relationship with Nigeria is. So it is likely not possible for Donald Trump to launch an attack on Nigeria because of this diplomatic effort. Another reason why it is likely impossible for US not to launch an attack on Nigeria is because Nigerian government made a response, and their response is that Nigerian government have rejected the allegations of religious intolerance and is working to address security challenges in Nigeria. So because of this response, and this response has been made publicly, the international organizations, the international relations, they know about it. UN Security Council, they know about it. So for US to still launch an attack after this response from Nigeria is likely not to be possible. Another reason why it's likely not possible for US to launch an attack on Nigeria is because of African Union stance. Now, when you look at AU, the AU has reaffirmed Nigerian sovereignty and urged diplomatic dialogue. So it's likely impossible since Nigeria is a member of the AU, African Union, and the Africans will fight for each other. So it's likely not possible for US Army to launch an attack against Nigeria. And lastly, another important reason why it is likely not possible for US to attack Nigeria or to launch an attack on Nigeria is because of global implications. Military interventions could destabilize the region and undermine international relations. So those military attacks on any country is capable of undermining international relations, because every country gains something from another country. Nigeria gains something from America, USA for example, and USA also gains something from Nigeria. So launching this kind of military attack is likely going to cause a kind of let's say mistrust between these two parties, these two countries. And aside that, there are other countries who also gain different things from these countries. For example, when you look at the Russia-Ukraine war, you see that the Russia-Ukraine war had an effect on global economy. It had a very big effect on global economy because Ukraine have something that they export to other countries. Russia also the same. And this attack on Ukraine made the economy very down, and some of the things that other countries gain from Ukraine, they were not able to get it. So if this attack is being launched on Nigeria, it's going to disrupt international peace, and it's going to cause mistrust in the international relations. So it's going to undermine everything. So these are 5 reasons why it is likely impossible for US Army to invade Nigeria. As I said earlier, I'm going to list them again. 1, the international law will not allow that, because the UN Security Council need to approve for that to happen, or for US to invade Nigeria. And if they cannot approve it, it is impossible for them to invade Nigeria. And if they are and the way it is, it's likely impossible for UN Security Council to approve it. Secondly, diplomatic efforts. Now, US gain a lot from Nigeria, and Nigeria gain a lot from US. For example, the crude oil, a lot of thousands of barrels have been exported every single year. So if US is going to launch an attack on Nigeria, it is likely to disrupt this economic business that is going on between these two nations. Another reason why is Nigerian government response, which is Nigerian government have responded that these accusations are not worth it. It is not true. They have rejected their accusations and allegations that Trump is laying on Nigeria. And another reason is because African Union will not agree to that for America or USA to come to Africa, West Africa, and launch an attack on Nigeria. And lastly, global implications. It is going to cause global crisis. In fact, it's going to cause economic crisis for US to launch an attack on Nigeria. It is going to undermine international relations. So these are some of the reasons why it is likely impossible for the US to invade Nigeria. You are watching Davcado TV. Please subscribe, like and share the content. If you also have anything in mind to say, you can also drop down to the comment section, say whatever you have in mind, and keep watching Davcado TV. When you subscribe, click on the notification so that whenever we post a content like this, you will be the first person to be notified.